Hey guys, what's up? It's your boy Rambo here with episode number... What episode am I even on? Who the hell knows anymore in these current times? But, shit. Can I kill this damn zombie already? I'm trying to milk the points here in the early rounds, but this knife is nearly about to lunge me into a different map altogether. Ah, screw it, let's just shoot this undead bastard. Bunch of silly baloney this map is. Numa released on June 11th, 2009 as part of a DLC 2 for Call of Duty World at War. Out of all the World at War and Black Ops 1 maps, or what I would dub the Tasteful 10, Numa is probably my least favorite of the bunch. Nonetheless, I still think it's a pretty solid map. I don't know, something about the atmosphere and color palette of the map always felt very gloomy and bleak. But then again, I wasn't playing the map when it first came out, so I don't really have too many fond memories of playing it. But I could definitely acknowledge how it introduced a lot of key components that would eventually become staples of future zombie maps. Most prominently, Numa introduced fans to the main crew of characters. Additionally, the map also introduced the fan favorite Wunderwaffe wonder weapon, and also the Hellhounds, who were a lot feistier back in World at War. Even with all this quote-unquote innovation, I still feel like the map didn't really progress the mode as much as Verrucht or Der Riese. Numa kinda seems like the awkward middle child between the other two DLC maps for the game. I will say that I do enjoy the map layout, as it has the classic symmetry present in many older maps, with Numa having 4 different huts that each contain an electric trap, perk machine, wall weapon, and mystery box location. As Rambo's rulebook states, map design that contains simple symmetry is preferable to that which is founded on chaos. Like my other retrospectives, I'll speak a bit about the high round scene for Numa back in the day. A playlist with all my zombie retrospectives will be in the description below. In any case, the World at War version of Numa on solo is pretty infamous at this point for how easy it is to get to a really high round, as there are only 24 zombies per round. With the wonder weapon, traps, and insta-kill bug in the later rounds, it's nearly effortless to get around 100, 1000, hell even 7000 for that matter. It's like you're participating in a form of endurance art, and seeing how long you can repeat the same monotonous movements over and over again without losing your marbles. On co-op, the zombie spawn rate is normal, so many people didn't really try it as often as solo back in the day. And if they did, they were usually only getting to the 40s and 50s. For the Black Ops 1 version of the map, solo and co-op strategies of course were very slow early on, as players would divide themselves between the comm room and fishing hut, then converge and take them through the traps.
They actually stay in front of the trap so they can trap you. Which is complete bullshit, and oh shit, fucking controller.
I will say though, Numa on Black Ops 1 had one of the cleanest leaderboards for many months. At one point in summer 2011, the front page of the leaderboard was absolutely stacked. I'm talking the greatest front page in the history of zombies. Every single one of the top 14 ranks consisted of great legit players at the time period, which was unbelievably rare considering the front pages for maps like Kino and 5 consisted of nothing but cheaters. The front page I'm talking about for Numa is seemingly lost in time, nowhere to be found. But there is a similar front page from about a month earlier which I think is pretty damn impressive in its own right, even if it includes some cheaters like Noble Thread. I mean, the amount of talent on one single page is really remarkable. If there was ever a museum for zombies, this would have to be framed and hanged in the main exhibit. And you could also hang a portrait of Jimmy Z in the bathroom while you're at it. While it has nothing to do with Numa, I figured I would comment on somewhat topical news in the zombie scene. In February of this year, Zombies director Jason Blundell announced that he would be moving on from Treyarch. This news was not really surprising to anyone in the know, as there were a lot of signs throughout 2019 that he was on the way out, despite plenty of Reddit marks performing mental gymnastics to justify Blundell's multi-month absence in the middle of BO4's DLC season. Anyways, there's been a lot of discussion stemming from the news of his departure. There's more questions than answers when it comes to him leaving. Like, we don't exactly know whether he left on his own terms or not. It's important to remember that there were a lot of issues related to BO4's development as a whole, like the scrapped campaign, the QA debacle, and also pressure with the upcoming COD game being on a shorter dev cycle. There are a lot of different things that could have contributed to Blundell's departure, rather than the blame being put solely on the reception that BO4 Zombies received.
Sorry about that. They get a little testy around lunchtime.
In any case, I think the big takeaway from the news of his departure is that a lot could change in just under a year. In May 2018, Blundell emerged from smoke to thunderous applause at the BO4 reveal event. And just a few months later, in March 2019, he disappeared from the public eye and was presumably reassigned around that period. No matter who is taking over as the new lead, I don't think it'll really affect anything one way or another. If you're hoping for the game to revert to the simplicity of maps like Numa, those experiences are not going to be duplicated, so you gotta move on. Other people have said, Bring back Jimmy Z. Listen, I love the bastard, but come on. The success of zombies is one big happy accident. Furthermore, Blundell was incredibly fortunate himself to inherit a rabid fanbase in BO2, which coincided with the rise of live streams on Twitch and the content community on YouTube. I think Blundell's strengths came from his leadership and communication abilities, given his background as a producer. I think his storytelling ability, however, has always been vastly overrated by fans. You need to be highly impressionable to think of the zombies storyline as an epic, fantastically told story. It's essentially bits and pieces of sci-fi and horror media that Blundell and company grew up with, and none of the tropes that were used were elevated or transformed in any meaningful way. Final quick thoughts on Blundell. Both the success and failures of the mode can't rest solely on his shoulders. I don't know how responsible he was for the entirety of BO4 Zombies, but I do respect that he tried doing some new stuff with a few of the maps and some of the mechanics. My prediction is that he'll probably become a narrative director for a respectable gaming studio in the future, but I don't think he'll ever reach the levels of fanfare that he received for his work on Zombies. But he seemed like a nice fella, and I do wish him a sincere farewell.
Oh gosh, one day they're going to find out that I'm a fraud and I'll get kicked out.
Numa has been remastered and remade quite often throughout the years. We'll just quickly go through all the iterations right now, starting of course with the World at War version in 2009. Then the map appeared a year later in the mobile game Call of Duty World at War Zombies. Then there was the Black Ops 1 remaster that same year, which was packaged with the hardened and prestige editions of the game, and which later became more accessible through the release of the Resurrection DLC pack in August 2011. There's also the Chinese Call of Duty Online Cyborg Rising remake called Ghost Swamp from 2014, and a couple years passed before Numa came back again, when parts of the map appeared in Black Ops 3 with Revelations, where you could actually use the Flogger Trap. Just make sure you don't try crouching underneath it. And finally, there's the Zombies Chronicles remaster in 2017. Oof, okay. That was quick and painless, got through all those maps. I really don't know why Numa has been released so often throughout the years. I guess all the World at War maps are kinda like that since they've been around for so long. But for crying out loud, please, I don't want to see this map remade ever again. Who the hell is calling me? Stupid, cynical elitist qpDerekqp calling me. Hello?
Rambo, I regret to inform you, but there has been—
Don't tell me. There's martial law in New York City?
No, silly. Much worse than that. There has, in fact, been another remake of Numa. It was in the new Call of Duty mobile game.
They literally made a mobile version of this map 10 years ago. Why is there yet another one? I gotta play this and see what the hell they did that warranted yet another remake. So the Numa map on COD Mobile has been a thing since November 2019, but in March, the devs for the game released a statement on Reddit saying that after extensive evaluation, they were to remove the Zombies mode on March 25th, and even cancelled all upcoming content such as a Nocturne Totem map as well. In a surprisingly transparent, or maybe clueless statement, they also said, the mode just didn't reach the level of quality that we desire. But they also said that the mode might return in the future if they can, quote, make sure it is high enough quality. Well, why the hell was it out for 5 months with little to no updates if it never met their standards? In any case, in order to play the Zombies mode, you have to be level 15. Well, no shit, this game was deader than Dillinger if you need to play a bunch of boring multiplayer matches just to unlock the mode. Well, right off the bat, there's a few things of concern with this game. The HUD is the most cluttered thing I've seen since playing Dead Ops Zombies Reborn. I mean, for all these damn buttons on my screen, I don't even think there's a pause option. Then there's the timer on the top left corner. Apparently all the modes, whether it's the raids or normal survival, have time limits associated with them. What kind of Mickey Mouse bullshit is that? Putting a fixed timer on what's supposed to be a round-based game with endless hordes might just be the worst plan since Abe Lincoln said, you know what, I'm sick of hanging around the house tonight, let's go take in a show. Then you look at the top right of the screen, and for some inexplicable reason, there's a damn minimap. Numa Zombies on mobile has a minimap, but not Modern Warfare multiplayer. Go figure. The HUD also shows that you're facing the Abomination boss in round 8. That's odd, because I assumed this whole game was an abomination. If you play the hardcore version of raid mode, you could do some Easter egg baloney that changes the boss to Jabuku. On hardcore, there's also a few more rounds and extra mini bosses as well, like the Warden from Mob of the Dead and the Avogadro from Transit. I guess they just spun a wheel and picked random enemies to insert into their map. The weapons on this game really suck ass out of a straw as well. Unless you have the ray gun, it's gonna take an Ice Age just to kill off a horde, even on round 10. Also, there's like little abilities you could buy on the map, but you literally have no idea what they do. because the text appears for literally 2 seconds, and it uses a font size which requires a magnifying glass if you want to read it properly. Not to mention that the words usually have grammatical errors as well. 1 seconds? I don't think that's quite right. Or sometimes they cut off a word at the end of a line of text, like vulnera. What the hell is that? Is that some type of infectious disease that I'm liable to contract in this bug-infested swamp? Nah, it's just the word vulnerable, but they didn't bother to put in a hyphen at the end of vulnera. So once you reach the round 12 boss round, you get sent into an epic boss battle with Jocko. He has a little cutscene where he gives his ass a little shake and some dingleberries fall out. The boss fight is pretty boring as you just blast him with a ray gun for like 10 minutes. At least the game gives you infinite ammo since they realized the health of the boss was ridiculous beyond belief. If you let him get too close to you, he'll kill you pretty damn quickly. So your best bet is to practice social distancing and play it safe. Well, except the clock is ticking. But no worries, I got this in the bag. This bastard has a slither of health left. Yeah, take that. What? There's a second health bar for this lump of shit? And I only have 4 minutes left on the timer. What a bunch of malarkey. I suppose I need to invest all in on the high-risk, high-reward program and just keep blasting this fool with my ray gun. Oh, I'm out of lives. What a shitload of crap! Why did they wait until March 25th to get rid of this lame-ass turd of a game? They should have just deleted it from existence the moment they released it back in November. I'm sure no one would have noticed that it was gone. I mean, the game is so terrible that saying it scrapes the bottom with the barrel would be generous. It's not even the gunk located beneath the barrel either. Hell, now that I think about it, the map doesn't even deserve to be mentioned in the same sentence with barrels. I mean, what were they thinking? As per usual, I'll end the video with fun facts and features of the map that I deem worthy of mention. Numa is the only zombies map to feature the Arisaka rifle. Additionally, it was the first map to introduce the Type 100 submachine gun. On the World at War version of the map, Quick Revive doesn't work on solo. There was a perk called Ammo-matic, which was originally intended to debut on Numa, but it was scrapped and never included in any of the maps.
Max ammo machine. Ah, genius.
Dempsey, I think the word you're looking for is OP. Numa was the first zombies map to have achievements that you can unlock for the mode. First map where there's a light in the sky to show where the mystery box is located. First map where the enemies were not Nazi zombies. First map that had randomized perk machine locations. When buying a perk on Numa, the game doesn't show you the cost of the perk on the button prompt. Instead, the price is on the actual machine itself, unlike other maps. First map where enemies spawn from areas other than window barriers. Numa started introducing more and more little tidbits about the story. You have the element 115 meteor and the number 115 scribbled on the wall, little mysterious documents laying around the map, the radios you could activate, and so on. Aspects of Numa's level design are lifted from the campaign mission Semper Fi, along with the multiplayer map Knee Deep. If you try playing multiplayer in World at War, you'll probably end up knee deep in a modded lobby. Well, that about wraps up the video. As Dempsey would say,
Hasta la vista, meatbags.